Signori, abbiamo 7 minuti di video da guardarci per le nuove novità di Minecraft che verranno, penso, l'anno prossimo a questo punto, con Pale Garden and Cracking.
And now it's time to reveal our completely new drop, releasing in a few months. The team has been really excited about the idea of adding a new biome, and we created one
New
with
biome?
its own unique mood and identity.
Cos'è, tipo una foresta infestata?
During
Ma
daytime,
c'è un nuovo,
it's
un nuovo bioma, raga. Veramente? Un nuovo bioma di Minecraft così?
quiet, like almost serene in the new Pale Garden.
La Pale Garden si chiama.
While you might feel calm walking around in this forest, there's also an eerie mood. Then, when darkness falls, you indeed feel another side of this place. Like the hanging moss shifts from being...
Minchia, raga, ma Minecraft sta diventando... Questo non è un bene, signori, per me. Minecraft sta diventando un gioco horror. E io mi cago addosso quei giochi horror, signori.
pretty to really spooky, and you realize that you're not alone. There's something
Non sei da solo.
in the shadows.
So everything about this biome feels unfamiliar, and this is by design. We want you to feel a bit curious and scared, like, what is this place? Why is it so different from everything else? What we needed for the biome is to have like a low visibility, and we've created the pale hanging moss for this. This really inhibits like how much you can see and how far you can see, but you can still walk through it. So you're traversing through the forest and you're like trying to find everything.
Un sacco comunque di nuovi blocchi per costruire, eh? Attenzione.
But you don't know what will be behind the hanging moss.
Yeah, it gives you kind of a strange feeling when you enter. It's unnaturally quiet and a feeling of something weird's going on here.
Bene. C'è da cagarsi addosso, quindi.
I really like the ambiance of the new biome. It invokes really those eerie and spooky feelings.
Yes, eerie indeed. And turns out there actually is something lurking in the shadows. The creaking.
Aia. The cracking.
It's our first tree-like creature, and it's almost like it's camouflaging in the Pale Garden. And when it's dark at night,
Che mob
it's
di
kind of
merda
hard
è?
to see it except those like elusive
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, and it also interacts with those trees, which is super fun.
Yeah, there's a special new block that it has a connection to.
When you approach the creaking, you can actually realize that it doesn't take any damage, and when you try to hit it, it points you somewhere in the canopies. That's where basically the
Che
creaking
cazzo...
card.
Ma che cazzo stai dicendo, raga? Ma che cazzo state dicendo? Cioè, non prendono danni perché si rigenerano tramite gli alberi del bioma? Ma non ha senso.
Is, and that's what controls the mob.
One of the main themes of the Pale Garden and its
Però
inhabitants
non sembrano tanto
is that
aggressivi come
there's a lot
mob.
of contrast from the rest of the world. So when we made the creaking, we also wanted it to feel unfamiliar and different from other mobs, which is why we made it more asymmetric, to really go on this point of like being different.
Ah sì, ma no, se li guardi non ti vengono ad attaccare, ma se ti giri, cioè sono tipo il contrario degli Enderman. Ma che cazzo?
Different from everything else.
The creaking doesn't exist on its own. It's more of like a puppet of the new block, the creaking heart.
So the creaking heart and its creaking puppet really comes with a new combat challenge or combat mechanic, both in the way that you need to destroy.
Ah, avete capito? Cioè non sono dei mob che killi. Tu devi andare tramite le particelle della loro rigenerazione. What the fuck? E trovare il cuore che sta all'interno dell'albero dove loro effettivamente si rigenerano e sono collegati tramite queste particelle. E una volta che rompi il loro cuore, sparisce.
The heart block to actually kill the creaking, and also of course that the creaking only
Droppa
moves
delle
when
stringhe,
you're away.
veramente.
So don't blink.
I really like the sandboxiness of the creaking heart. So if I use Silk Touch, you obtain it and then you can place it anywhere you want in the Minecraft world. So if you want to be as evil as the creaking heart itself, you can place it and make your friends really terrified.
What? Puoi averli in
To
casa?
create ambient sounds for this biome that only plays during the night. That
What?
comes from the blocks
Puoi
that
averli
surround
letteralmente come pet.
that will make an even more creepier experience for the player. And to do that, you need to play with the silence and the contrast of the silence and the sounds. So to make creaking, I gathered a lot of creaky stuff that will make creaky sounds.
Non sono veloci però.
Obviously, the biggest thing would be to
Ah, ma che
gather
figo.
wood and
Fanno vedere come hanno
salty
fatto i
sticks,
suoni.
Swedish snack. I think it's Swedish. And one of the biggest part actually of the sound is my table creaking, dragging against the floor, and also a chair. I also recorded teeth. It sounds a bit like bones, maybe, when the mob is walking. So it's a
What do you mean by teeth? Oh, okay. So we wanted to make the biome very gray to give this very eerie feeling, right? And with these gray tones, a very fitting new wood set was going to be a white colored wood set. And this is something that players have wanted for a long time.
Ma che bello è! Sei malato a fare un blocco così. Le staccionate, i cancelli, le porte bianche. Wow, wow, wow. Bello!
Yeah, I'm super excited for the pale oak wood set, especially that in a lot of places people paint their fences white, for example, for a white picket fence, and that will be exciting for a lot of players to actually represent themselves.
And then we also have like the hanging moss, and you can bone wheel it, so it's renewable. So I think like just bringing it as well and maybe put it in a greenhouse and things
Che figo, raga.
hang from the
Puoi fare un sacco di roba con i nuovi materiali, eh. Non è da sottovalutare.
roof or like a wild garden, something like that would be really fun to build with it, I
Questa è tutta mezza entusiasta.
think.
Yeah, and it's also a really unique carpet moss because it also spreads all over the sides of the blocks. So
Non ci credo, anche i
that's also
tappeti che si uniscono con il muro. Bello!
great.
We look for a lot of inspiration, so we've looked at all these kind of different forests all over the world. A tree that stood out was like the willow tree, like because it's very hanging. There's a lot of like drapery, and it feels very eerie. Then we looked at like Spanish moss. This was like the inspiration for the pale hanging moss that we've used in the biome eventually, because this gives this like drapey feeling without being willow trees, and it was a little bit more versatile and flexible to use in the biome, and could also be used as like building blocks.
Che roba.
We are super excited to see what you do with these new features and the new game drop.
We want to create connections between features because the Minecraft world is an ecosystem and we really want it to feel like that. And the creaking heart and its puppet creaking, it really has a new way of creating this kind of connection. So it's going to be really fun to see you all experiencing it. And it's actually coming to snapshots, previews and betas very soon. So soon you can all try it out.
Ancora prima della fine dell'anno, signori? Mica male, eh. Mica cazzo male. Ancora prima della fine dell'anno. Questo è Gucci. Cioè, il legno bianco è una I. Sì, nell'effettivo ti aggiunge un bioma dove, vabbè, i materiali da costruire. Un mob in più che potrebbe diventare una collezione per la tua casa, ma nel concreto non ti aggiunge niente a livello di gameplay. Vediamo, raga, vediamo. Cosa ne pensate voi?